the topic today, is customer engagement framework. Sounds very formal, but everything is up in the air during the pandemic, right? Once the pandemic strikes, everything is invalid what you knew before, and a lot of things have to be relearned, and a lot of things have to be reinvented on how to engage with customers, and how what are the benchmarks, what are the strategies that are working versus not working, something that used to work earlier, how does that change, etc. So just to deep dive a bit into that, we have got a very esteemed set of panelists here, experts in their own respective industries in the region, and very great experience amongst the three of them. So I'll just start with a quick introduction of our panelists, and I'll let them introduce themselves one by one. So I'll just start with Mustafa. Mustafa is the VP of Growth at Swell. Mustafa, why don't you go ahead with your introduction quickly?
Thanks, Raj. Hi everyone, this is Mustafa, and I work for Swell as the VP of Growth. And over 8 years, I'm working on growth actually, and mainly right now, I'm managing most of the customer-related part of the business of Swell, mainly customer engagement, growth, digital marketing, CRM, even data science, and under that one. So I'm so happy to be here with you right now. Thank you.
Thanks, Mustafa. And then we have Amir. Amir is the group head of marketing technology as well as digital marketing. So for Landmark Group, Amir, do you want to go ahead with your introduction?
Yes. Hello. My name is Amr. I'm the executive board advisor and the chief marketing technology officer of the e-commerce department of Landmark. Actually handling, let's say, everything related to marketing tech, business intelligence, customer data platform, digital marketing, country expansions as well. I have been with the guys for around 1.5 years now. So this is very small brief about what I'm doing.
All right. And we have Deepti. Deepti is the CEO and co-founder of Vasara, which is a beauty services provider. Deepti, why don't you introduce yourself and also tell us a little bit more about what kind of services are you providing? I think a lot of people would be interested in that now.
Yes. First of all, thank you so much for having me here, Raj. So Vasara is a booking app for salons and spas in Dubai. We also have a B2B platform where the bookings can go directly from the customer to the salon and can be managed independently. So we launched last year with about 30 salons. Very happy to say we have about 400 salons, over 30,000 customers. We've gone through our 2 rounds of funding, and we've had our own journey of working from cafes to homes to now in an office in TCOM. And last year we joined the MoEngage Growth Accelerator program as well. So we've been working very closely with MoEngage, Raj and his team. And just a little bit about myself. So before starting Vasara, I worked for about 15 years in launching services globally with companies like Deloitte Consulting and Orange Business Services.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Deloitte is something common between us then. Like I worked with Deloitte.
I was with them for 9 years.
Oh, nice. Great. Good to get started. Good to get introduced. So I think what we'll do is that we'll start with a few common question to all 3 panelists, and you can pick one by one. So I'll just walk through each of you with the same question, and then we'll have maybe some specific questions to each of you relevant to your industry and experience. So we'll start with the common one, and the most common one is obviously and this is the most asked question right now, right? That how has your industry been impacted and what has changed, right? In terms of consumer buying behavior, in terms of what is the preference of customers, what are customers like? Are customers responding more to offers or more to safety, or do they want to feel more confident? So what have you noticed? So one is in terms of business impact and in terms of channels, in terms of products, etc. And what is the second in terms of customer behavior, in terms of what they are responding to? So Deepti, why don't you start with your experience in this?
Absolutely. So beauty is a heavy contact-led business. So my world starts from that sentence and finishes in a space where you are asked to stay 6 feet away from everyone in the new normal. So you can only imagine what my industry has gone through, what the salons are still going through. When the restrictions just started easing, there were a lot of restrictions on the occupancy rate in a salon. The fact that until a booking is made, the customer could not go to a salon. There are no waiting areas anymore. The kind of services that a salon can provide are also under heavy checks still. So it has impacted the salon business significantly in terms of cash flow. Right. On a customer's perspective, like I said, it's a heavy contact-led business. So while we've noticed at Vasra that the repeat customers have steadily grown, I'm very happy that in September it reached 60% again. There is still a large chunk of customers who need attention or who are hibernating and who've not come back to the salons. When we followed up with them just to find out what it would take to bring them back, usually it has something to do with a health condition, either with them or with a family member. So they're quite reserved still about wanting to come back. And then also, unlike the West, in Dubai, nobody rushed to get a haircut when the lockdown had just opened up. So for 2 weeks, we had a flat line. I still remember 24th April, the salons opened up. I think my entire team would remember it. And for 2 weeks, we were a flatline state. So I think that was the time when we all started wondering what the hell is happening and what the future is going to look like for all of us.
Right.
But then what we did in terms of trying to mitigate that risk. So there have been 3 things that we've done, and we've noticed that those trends are not going to change, and it's probably going to stay like that for the next 15 months. So a combination of salons talking about the safety protocols repeatedly. So not once, they have to continuously inform the customers about things that they are doing to safeguard the health of their customers. And then also combining it with good offers is actually attracting a lot of crowd in those salons, and they are doing really well. Right. In fact, we are looking to probably reward or award these salons and recognize the kind of efforts that they have done in this space. But it's a repeated communication to their customers about safety protocols. So in order to help them, what Vasra has done is we've launched a safety campaign called #MySalonIsSafe. So when a salon declares itself against a checklist of items, they are marked safe on the app. So a customer can actually go and look for just a safe salon. We've also done analog marketing because I know a lot of people in the audience are also marketing managers. So we've actually gone down to the basics and done analog marketing, which is we've printed posters, stickers, and tent cards, and we've given it to these safe salons, which just says #MySalonIsSafe.
Right.
The second thing that we've done is no one has cash flow right now. But we know that right now a brand needs to stay relevant at either zero cost or low cost. Right. So what we did was we launched a virtual platform to give to these salons to come and talk about these services. So how do you create a hair mask? Or what is the customer buying lockdown? It could be a business topic. It could be just something that most of our customers are interested in. And we've seen in Vasra to get about 5,000 to 35,000 views on these virtual events. So they're doing good publicity for our salons. I mean, I can only make money if they are making money. Right. So my job is to make sure that they stay relevant. Right. So I think for us, these 2 strategies have worked really well so far.
Got it. That's great to hear.
Yeah.
And then moving to you, I think for you, the problem was a little bit inverted, right? I think with the malls being closed, a lot of traffic came online immediately. And, I think you saw a surge of traffic and plus purchases as well. But then I think the struggle is also to retain those users. So how have you seen the last few months change your perception of consumer behavior, and what do you think has been different than earlier?
No, I think the pandemic was made a lot of people succeed faster, to be honest. And so what happened on our side, as example, in terms of sales and all this stuff, it's like something we was not able to predict, to be honest. So the amount of sales and happen and all this stuff, it was not our control. It's not, we cannot say, oh, it was us, we have done a great job. No, it was a situation happened,
Right.
and make our number grow. So we, what happened in pandemic, we over exceed what we usually do on Black Fridays. So it didn't reach it or didn't exceed it. It went up 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So on one day, we remember Landmark was even the biggest e-commerce of term of selling, not because of marketing, to be honest, it was because of logistics. So the pandemic proved that it's all about operation and logistics, and it's all about technology. So that we always believe that e-commerce companies are logistics companies, right? So without the logistics, even you have the best BI team, marketing team, best data, best sales. So actually, without logistics, you will not be able to succeed. So what we gained from this pandemic, to be honest, we have done a huge sales. We overachieved the targets like 420 times, something like this. Everything went crazy. But now, after the pandemic started to the huge people came to us, we now need to leverage on what we learned on this, because this behavior which happens the first 3, 4 months, especially from April and April was crazy compared to March for us. March was people still struggling, are we going out or not? But in April, it went for us crazy. So what we're trying to understand now, we acquired number of customers we was planning to acquire in the next 1.5 and 2 years. So the amount of new customers we have now, what we are doing now is not trying to bring new customers, because now it's not about CAC, it's not about customer acquisition cost anymore. It's all about retention. It's about how to make people an experience. So what we are trying to focus now to understand how our customers are behaving, which margins, what things they love, what things they do, because whatever happened in the 2 months is actually changed the entire model for us. If I was categorizing a person here, what happened in pandemic changed it totally, because the person started to buy more babies. We found something super funny, which is happening now after the pandemic. 8 or 7 months, we were saying, oh, it's going to happen. Baby products are selling much, much more than expected. Right. Because this was a joke. We said it on the pandemic, because people are sitting alone, we're going to have a lot of babies. Actually, what's happened now is really the products of babies are selling above the roof. So if, let's say, babies was, let's say, 20% of our sales on the company, it become over than 48%, because everyone is selling, everyone is buying babies. So what we believe in the pandemic, the company for us, I speak about Landmark, show a huge operation, a huge, amazing logistics. What we learned from pandemic, we learned that we need, if we are taking a step to understand our customers, our product, we need to take now extra steps to understand, because the type of things and the type of data we now have is over than, let's say, what we expected. We was running a lot of things on our database, data warehouse, a lot of stuff. So what happened on pandemic, it's increased our volumes, increased our row tables from, let's say, from 5 billion row to 15 billion row. So we need now more on the optimization, understanding the data, understand the segmentation work on, optimize more our data warehouses to understand how to bring more reports, understand the customer acquisition cost to CLVs. So we are focusing now on the retention, because we have enough customers buy from us. And we saw a lot of switch from people to offline to online, which we was able to get a huge percentage of it. And what we're leveraging on now is like, because we are the biggest non-food loyalty program in the Middle East, which is Sukran program, we are trying now to leverage more and to get the best out of such data. So again, our hands was off on the pandemic, even we shut down marketing. And sales was above the roof. So no one can say we have done amazing marketing, everything. It was a behavior, happened to everyone. So, but what we need to do now is, after everything finished, we need to learn of what happened, and we need to get the advantage out of it. That's why we believe the next White Wednesday or Black Friday will be the biggest in the last 10 years. So we need to be for it.
Yep. I think, that's the expectation. So Mustafa, from your perspective, right, mobility, I think, has been definitely impacted very differently in different parts of the world. So what has been your experience in terms of the impact? And I think, as Amir mentioned, for him now the problem is to retain these users that they acquired. I think for you the problem would be to now get back the users that you had earlier. Is that correct? assessment of the situation today?
Yeah, totally. So actually, we weren't as lucky as e-commerce there. So what happened is we also had to deal with like a lot of stuff, like for example, work from home is one, and schools they were off, and also lots of regulatory stuff happened in different countries. So basically, we are seeing right now, the trend is really good. Some countries are bouncing back really, really fast, but some of them, because of the regulations, and you cannot, bounce back very quickly. So of course we understand, the situation, and we are trying to adapt ourselves to that. But overall, basically, what kind of strategies we took, especially during, lockdown period, especially the partial lockdowns, we basically totally stopped, conversion-driven marketing, and we just tried to support the people there, because even we stop all the transportation in the city, there are still people who needs to commute, like health workers, or for example, like blue collars, and all these people, they need to move, right? So that's why we offered free rides in most of the countries if there is like full lockdown.
Right.
And so it was more on the support side, and also before, we were using a very joyful language to basically try to move people in a very convenient way. But at that moment, you cannot basically tell people to go out, right? It's like totally unsafe. So that's why we changed our communication strategy, something like, don't go out. It's not safe, but if you really need to go out, we are there for you. So it was more like, like a good customer relationship. And but overall, of course, we saw like a lot of change in the numbers, right? So especially the first hit we saw was in the frequency. And people basically started to commute less frequently, because they don't need to go to work, they don't need to go to school. So, and in the end, Civil is operating buses, right? And this is like a commute business. And in the end, we are carrying people who are every day going to work, or who are every day going to the school. Right. So that's why basically frequency was the first thing. But basically there is actually one struggle on that one. Let's say your frequency dropped, right? So you never know that which frequency is the right point, right? Because there is a drop, but should be, we should push for higher, or like it's like a good one, right? So that's why it made us very close with our competitors as well. So exchange of strategies, because in the end it became a humanity problem, right? The pandemic. So that's why basically there were a lot of collaboration between like other players in the market as well. And the thing is, what we realized is, of course, during the lockdown period especially, we lost a lot of users, but in the end, the ones we were left alone was the best users, like super, like 100% product market fit. They use you every day, and they probably have like less substitutes, and that's why basically we really understood that these are our like core, like super good users. So that was like a great data insight for us. Then as you said, yes, reactivation became like super important for us. So before, we were putting a lot of effort on new user acquisition, also like retention. Then it became like a reactivation game for us, because in the end, the cities, they started to open up closed, right? They didn't open up like in one day. So then it became like a huge market, and everyone was trying to basically get their users back. So that's why we shifted our focus totally on reactivation. And that's why, a lot of numbers changed in the end. But overall, there are some markets like performing really, really well. They're like almost like 60% of pre-COVID, and there are like still some of them, they are still struggling because of the country's conditions.
Right.
But overall, to be honest, it is the effect was on especially transportation. It is less than what I expected. I was just expecting more than that. But currently, we are seeing like a really good bounce back, and people are coming back. Schools are opening. People start to go to the offices, and that's why right now we are seeing that all our segments they are just coming back.
Right, right. No, that's good to hear. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
So, just a follow-up question, Mustafa, on that front, right? What are those channels which are helping you in reactivation better, or what kind of messaging is helping you reactivate old users? Has there been like any insights on that that you have found?
Yeah, actually, one insight there is definitely in the lockdown period, there were a lot of uninstalls, right? Because people don't need their, and they don't have enough space in their phone, so they are just deleting it.
Correct.
So that's why, especially on digital marketing, doing like this retargeting, they really helped a lot. And also, what strategy we did is we tried to stay on top of mind. So we just sent communication during the lockdown period just to remind us. We sent also surveys to get the information from the users, about lots of things. So it wasn't anything conversion driven. It's more on like a conversation between us and with our customers. So
Got it.
and digital marketing was a good channel on that one. And of course. All the CRM we were doing is also like quite important, right? The reactivation of the existing base is the cheaper in the end for us. And so in our industry, so it is a little bit different than the ride hailing. So it is more on, like the car sharing basic. So since it's the bus, so we have like some fixed routes in the city. So we gradually basically added this route, so it helped us to reactivate. So basically, whenever a route is available just next to your house, then we start to reactivate those routes. And the good thing is also, since we have a good reactivated base, the good inactive base basically. So they were searching, they were coming searching. They couldn't find their route, and they were just stopping using. So we basically by using all the data we have, we were basically catching those users. So whenever the route available, we were just hitting the communication, and we were getting our users back. So that's why it's a mix of CRM and also digital marketing. But of course, CRM is the the highest percentage there to basically convert our users back.
Got it. Got it. Deepti, coming to you, right? I think you would have also seen, I mean, just an assumption, but some change in terms of the kind of customers that you were getting earlier versus now you are getting the people who want to actually pre-book. I mean, there's always a kind of or a set of users who want to pre-book, who want to have more detailed view before booking a service, etc. And some people just walk into a salon and just get the service, right? So have you seen adoption by laggards, or have you seen adoption by people who were earlier not using apps, Vasra or some similar apps, but now wanting to use the app before going to the salons?
So we are noticing some really funny trends in the market right now. So one of the things that we've noticed is that in the women's salons, every time the number of cases start going up, the husbands don't let the women go to a salon because it's not considered an essential service. So our target audience for women's salons have also actually become the husbands. They are the ones who have to be told about the safety in a salon, so the wives are allowed to enter. The other very crazy trend that we've noticed as well, and these are out of ordinary trends that I'm talking about, right? That the strategies have to sort of be built for.
Right.
The wives, the ones who do make it to the salons, despite being told not to go to one, want to pay in cash because they don't want it to appear on the credit card statement for the husbands to find out where they've spent that money. The third trend that we've noticed, which is also very interesting, and I think the third one will actually stick. The first two might change, but the third will stick. Again, because it's a heavy contact-led business, instead of trying to go for services frequently, people are actually preferring to go for expensive services which last longer.
Right.
So suddenly we've seen a shift happen towards hair treatments, hair color, a lot of like facial treatments, which are expensive, but which will have an impact over 6 weeks to 3 months maybe, which is not what we would have ever imagined after a lockdown. So actually the average booking value for us has gone up because of this particular trend. And yes, and we've also, because of all of what is happening, we feel that the customers that we had from before to what we have now are completely different. But in our particular case, when we follow up with the laggards, like you say, or the ones who've not wanted to come, the ones who are hibernating, and we've even made that effort to have our customer service give them a call. So besides doing all the digital stuff, which is the emails, the messaging, the push notifications, we've also called them to find out why they have not returned to the salons. In 99% of the cases, it's not because of lack of money. It's truly because they are either themselves vulnerable to some health condition or someone in their family is. So they have not even started going to a restaurant, for example, and most likely the children are also still doing online schooling. So the profile has completely changed. And we know that it's going to be difficult to get them on board. We've of course used MoEngage now to geofence some of the touristy areas to make sure that the existing customers get notification of our top salons and can be informed about some of the offers that are going on. So we've also noticed that the customer loyalty has now shifted because of a combination of the kind of marketing we've done through digitally, and also because the salons, again, who are talking more about the safety protocols, are actually attracting the new customers.
Right.
But I agree with what Amar also said earlier, and we are constantly educating our salons. It's all about retention right now. It's all about retention. It's 7 times cheaper to retain a customer than to attract a new customer. And it's a pointless exercise. So if you've got a new customer, just retain right now. And that's really what our focus is as well.
Got it. So, Amar, for you, have you seen any new, new campaigns or new kind of channels which are working better for you now, or any automations that you have done in this period? I know that we have worked with the team to set up more auto trigger campaigns where if people are looking at some items and those are not available, then when they become available, you mention to those users, etc. So have you seen any similar trends which you see some automations? As Deepti mentioned, I think geofence has helped them, kind of a new innovation which they are using. So something similar that you have also found value in?
So what we found out, it's not like, I will not say we generated new campaigns, we put a new campaigns on place. Actually, what we're focusing on now, if I was touching the customer or I getting an event from a customer, 4 events or 5 events or 6 events, let's say. Now, the pandemic or the number of behavior came to our website, pushed us to get more data, even if it was simple for us. So the normal thing, people making the add to cart, product views, and all this stuff, we started to have different triggers. We trusted to add more events on even some pages we didn't look at. So, or even some clicks we didn't look at. How many people, let's say, click on apply coupon? How many people, which we never done it, which was not, we didn't focus on it. It's important, but now the pandemic pushed us to do a lot of stuff we was planning to do it later, because now the amount of database we have went crazy. Also, the pandemic, it pushed us to launch the margins integration. So we are now going to release before White Wednesday to understand the margins integration itself, which means that we'll be able to understand if this product, it's not about cost per order anymore. It's not about customer acquisition cost. It's about the entire P&L. We don't look at the marketing view, which we name it profit contribution 3 as an example. We look at the entire P&L from cost of goods up to down to salaries and bonuses and rents and all this stuff. So now we focusing on P&L overview. If my cost per order is going to cost me, let's say 10 dirhams, but actually the t-shirt I'm wearing is going to be in discount after 2 months, which is going to lose 50 dirhams. So it's much better to increase my cost per order today with 20 dirhams instead of 10 and save my P&L or the cost of goods 30 dirhams later. So now we are focusing more on the big picture. It's not marketing view. We don't focus anymore on cost per orders. Yes, it's a factor for us, or cost to income ratio, but the most important thing now we focus on is like customer acquisition cost, let's say, or customer lifetime value ratio, and we focus on the overall P&L. So I don't care if my cost per order went from 10 to 12, but my P&L is much better. So we need the merchandising or the buying marketing integration based on margins, so we'll be able to understand if I'm selling this product now, is the selling through is good or not? So we need, is this now what we are doing and what we are launching? And I think we will be the first on the region at the group to launch the marketing integration in the region. So it will help us to understand. It's not about cost per order anymore. People are looking at CIR, customer acquisition cost, all this stuff. No, you need to look at the entire P&L, because we are not looking at marketing only, we are looking at the entire P&L. So that's why I think that the pandemic made us, because number of orders came very huge, and we was doing nothing, to be honest. I will not say we were doing, as I say, we was doing a great job. No, the order was coming because of the behavior. So the pandemic gave us a space to brainstorm and do some things we was not doing, because we don't care about the revenue anymore, because the revenue is coming, it's coming. So what we focus on those 3-4 months to understand how to get the most out of such pandemic, and what if we know the pandemic is going to happen, what we should do, like the margins, focusing on net promoter score, understanding the behavior, understanding what people really need, and understanding the logistics part of it, and understanding the P&L of it. So I think this is what we gained out of the pandemic, that we found out that we was little bit late and we need to move faster, because if we was faster, we was going to face the pandemic with a much nicer way, and we was going even to make the sales, which is went up 2 times or 3 times, we could make it times 6. So that's what we learned from the pandemic, to be honest, that there's a lot to do and we need to do it.
Great. And I think, pandemic has also accelerated a lot of digitization processes, etc. That they were running at their own pace, but pandemic has forced a lot of organizations to adopt to the latest technologies and the most modern way of engaging with the customers. And as you said, right, looking at a larger P&L rather than taking online as just a small bucket and just looking at customer acquisition, etc. But online itself becoming the main channel of trade. That has been a big change that I think the pandemic has forced a lot of organizations on.
I think the pandemic, because I'm not coming from a corporate, I'm working in a corporate, but I'm always coming from startup, from Rocket, Nemshi, and whatever before. So we was used as a startup. We usually to be a startup, understand how startup will work fast and all this stuff. So when you jump in a big dinosaur like a corporate, actually what happened on pandemic made the corporates to start to think, we were selling only on e-commerce. So actually e-commerce become a focus. So now we got actually more focus, even with big part of the business, we get a more focus, and they become more flexible with us. So as an example, if you'd like to get a tool, if you would like to sign a contract, if you would like to join something, or you'd like to do something that's not under the corporate, it's become more flexible now. It's not super flexible at startups, as Swavel as an example, Mustafa and the guys. So, but no, it's become more that people start as a corporate listen to you more, understand that, we need to move fast, because the digital part is the things that move fast. We launched Kuwait on pandemic in 7 days for Home Center. We launched the website, which should launch on 4 months or 3 months. The e-commerce team launched it on 1 week. So this is a power of e-commerce, as we said. So that's what we learned, to be honest, and give us more understanding of the corporate side, the big dinosaurs, understand that e-commerce value was going to do. Yeah.
Awesome.
For me specifically, it accelerated that education that the salons needed to digitize themselves. So as a startup, one of the challenges you always struggle with is trying to communicate why your product is so critical to their business. Before the pandemic, despite having such a big portfolio now, 400 salons, we still used to get those questions of, will you steal my customer information? Or why do I need an app? My stylist already have all the customers on the WhatsApp kind of questions coming. But since this has happened, of course, there's still a lot of education to be done in terms of our product, but it has dramatically shifted the customer perspective. Right. They understand now that getting a booking before a customer comes in, or selling a package while the customer is at home, means that they are actually collecting payment sitting in the salon and they don't have to do anything about it. Right. So from that perspective, 100%, education has got accelerated.
Right, right. No, that's a great insight. And Mustafa, coming to you, I think yesterday we were discussing about data models and how do you use analytics, etc. And we were discussing that hey, whatever models and whatever benchmarks or frequency, as you were mentioning, the frequency benchmarks that we had is all appended, right? So how are you and your team working on data modeling and analytics, and how are you utilizing the entire analytics framework to understand and engage with customers better? How are you, utilizing that to identify the right set of customers and communication, etc.?
Yeah, actually, it was a really big struggle. So because right now here, what we are trying to do is like moving a super data-driven model, and basically take all the decisions based on data, doing like extreme experimentation, and in the end, data will tell us, what is right for this specific segment. Let's say, let me tell you what changed. So that segment wasn't there anymore. Then the model wasn't working anymore because the users that we used and the data we used at that moment wasn't available anymore because so everything changed. So your churn prediction is completely different right now because your retention is completely different right now. So that's why what we had to do is we rebuilt everything. And why this was good actually, because there was like certain things that we couldn't resolve before because of the daily rhythm of the work, right? And the thing is, like most of the startups, they are like all of the startups actually, they are like looking for hyper growth right in the end. And if the company is growing in a really good way, then it makes it a little hard for doing like very bold experiments, right? Because you don't want to hurt the growth because things are moving already great. So you are just trying to add something on top of it. So this made us like very, very bold because the thing is, numbers drop. So it's like a right time, what you can break in there. So we really did like very, very, very bold experimentation. We learned a lot. We understood that, let's say, just an example from promotions, for example. So, there are like a lot of different promotions you can give in the shared mobility. So we, tried like a lot of different offers. We developed them together with our like product teams. We developed lots of automations. And in the end, so we did all these experiments and we understood that for like specific segments, what is the best offer, for example, or for which segment, for example, I should hit for retention, for which segment I should hit for frequency. So this kind of learnings basically came especially in this moment. And since, the daily rhythm of work, it slowed down a little so that we had like a lot of time for working on these things. And also, like one quick note also in the segmentation, and this can be also useful for the audience as well. So your segmentation is not there anymore, right? The frequency dropped, retention dropped, so your high frequency users are not high frequency anymore. So we basically created like a temporary segmentation, and the segmentation was more on how to reactivate, and also once they come in the platform, how to retain. So that's why we created a temporary segmentation, but we didn't change entirely the existing segmentation because let's say you have a high frequency user group. The rate of the high frequency user group is one of the North Stars that we are having, and it's showing us that where we are going and are we close to pre-COVID numbers, for example. So that's why we kept this, and we basically did all the actions based on the new segmentation there. And but overall, the story is basically we had to rebuild everything. But it was good because we did like very, very bold actions there to basically fix all the issues there.
Right. No, that's great to hear. I think we also have one question from audience, and Deepti, I think I'll take this to you since you spoke of the geofencing capability that you were using with MoEngage. So I think the audience is asking, are there any specific strategies around geofencing? So why don't you speak about how you have utilized geofencing and what have been the results like at a top level?
So strategy for adopting geofencing, right? So that's your first question. It's honestly a very simple strategy. I don't think we've tried to complicate it. Our focus has been where is the user, our typical user, frequenting? What are the typical places that they live in? So on a Google map, we typically know where our salons are, and we know where our B2C customers are coming. And we know what are the areas that they have started frequenting to post that pandemic. So idea is to make sure that those areas are well geofenced, so that the salons, every time anybody is in a Dubai mall, they can get a push notification saying, hey, 20% offer for this particular spa, why don't you go and get a nice foot massage done right now. In terms of the results, I think what we've noticed is, and this is always true for real estate kind of capabilities, it's all about location, location, location. So while we've only catered this to our top performing salons, those salons, if they are in good locations, even in the geo-fenced area, which typically means, do they have good parking? Are they in a corner kind of a salon where a customer can easily go to, have seen better results than the salons which are in some side lane somewhere where mostly it's loyal cost customers go to.
Right.
So I don't know if that answers the question.
No, it does. It does. I think it covers the strategy that you have used and how that has resulted. So any other questions from the audience? We'll just take a 30-second pause to see if audience, any members from the audience have questions from any of the panelists, or any of the panelists want to ask the other panelists anything. Feel free, Mustafa, Deepthi, or Amir.
I mean, for me, I guess the question would be more towards Mustafa's side, because I think board. I have a feeling Amar is more flushed with cash right now. So his strategies or how he's going to adopt or call back the customers is going to be very different from maybe what Mustafa is planning right now. So just wondering how you see things now changing over the next 6 months, because typically this would have been a peak season, right, for you as well. So how is there a tactical strategy in place for the next 6 months versus a long-term strategy that you guys are working on? Anything that you can share, at least?
I'm not sure how useful it would be for you, but so right now we are in a really good season because the schools are opening.
Right.
So that's why a lot of reactivation strategies is in place right now. But there is also one thing I really want to highlight. So one of the so there is certain reasons why a user is going inactive, right? So it can be product market fit, or they have some different use cases that you are not covering right now. So especially this period also gave us a good chance for working very closely with product and engineering team to come up with new things, like new categories, for example, we launched economy and premium. Before it was just one bus standard for everyone. Then we created different pricing points so that it helped us, the price sensitive inactive users, so that we reactivate them by this way. So it was more product driven for covering these cases, but also we used the help of the seasonality as well.
Okay, so basically everything that you're working on right now is strategic then. There's nothing.
Mostly, yeah.
Okay, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, Amir, that brings me to you as well. Have you done any major product-related changes, or website or app experience-related changes post-pandemic? Which you think have helped, or which you have planned for in the next few months?
So, you're talking to me?
No, I was asking Amir that on the e-commerce purchase experience, have you had any major changes done on the app or website?
So everything we are doing now actually is related to, as I said, so it's related to the user experience itself and what the user really looking for and what the user need. We added, let's say, we have a lot of things to add. As an example, we're adding different payment models as an example, different from what currently existing now. We are making some new accent changes, and we are moving totally our apps to React Native on this period. So as I say, this period for us, which is between the pandemic at White Wednesday, it's a very, very best time for us to do everything, because the most important thing you care about is what sales, right? And the sales is coming. So when the sales is coming, you have more space to be able to brainstorm, to do everything. So payment, application much faster, making the browsing much different. So there's a huge backlogs we are doing on our squad. So we have different squads. We have post-checkout squad. We have Shukran squad. We have optimization squads. We have different squads, and each squad runs sprints. Let's say, depending on the sprints, will be 14 days, or let's say 2 weeks or 4 weeks. So what's happening now? We are testing a lot of stuff, and whenever we fail fast. So we bring a lot of ideas now. We launch something related, let's say, to post checkout or checkout pages. If it failed, we shut it down and try something else very fast. Because now with the amount of volumes we have and a lot of things you have, we'll be able to test a lot of stuff. And hopefully there's a lot of stuff. Let's say we tested 10 things and 2 succeeded. 2 from 10 is a big number, by the way, that make a huge change. Huge change for us is anything you made on change on the website, make a change on your revenue more than 3-4%. So we have a lot of tasks we're running now and make a change, starting from different payment, click and collect, different way, because we have a single view of inventory. It was not existing before, and it's become now in real time. So we make sure everything's happened. If we migrated the data between our POS system, which is offline and online. If you, as an example, went to our website, let's say I would like to add something in your cart, you start to see the ad all over the place. Let's say you went back to the store and you buy it, you still see the ad in place, right? We disable this because we understand if you have a Shukran account and you buy it from me, or you have a phone number, so I will exclude you from the database. So actually, the pandemic came for us with a very, very positive thing. So I think it was a very big advantage for us. Vice versa, what will happen to the Squibbles, the Ubers, the Kareems, and the on-demand business would depend on people to come and excluding food as well, this excluding food. But I think e-commerce players who selling products, they were super lucky to have the pandemic, because we was able to do a lot of things we was not able to do it on the next 2-3 years. Even what happened with MoEngage. Now, if we agreed with MoEngage, okay, our monthly active user will be X, and this our bill, actually the monthly active user went up to 6 times. Why? Because people came like what we see on the graph is really crazy. Usually on Black Friday, you see a peak like this and go down. What we saw in the pandemic is peak like this and went down. It was like a small building beside Burj Khalifa, if we are comparing the pandemic to Black Friday. So what we saw on Black Friday, we never saw it. On normal days now, let's say we have the Shopee-Son event, okay, which was middle of September. It was bigger than last year of White Wednesday or Black Friday. So normal days, National Day of Saudi Arabia was bigger than 2019 White Wednesday or Black Friday. So we saw a normal events day become bigger than big events. We were saying, okay, we're going to sell for $500 million dirham on this event. Now it can come on regular normal 2-3 days. So again, I see that we were super lucky as a business, as an e-commerce business in Landmark, to have the pandemic, to be honest.
Right. Thanks, Amir. I think there were a couple of questions addressed to you, Amir. First one is more about, how did the Landmark Group create such a brand which was able to utilize this period and grow so significantly in sales. So just mind, I think we are running short on time, so maybe we have 1 or 2 minutes for this left now. And I think a follow-up question is also around any thoughts on optimizing first-time buyers' journey as we have holiday shopping coming along. So a lot of first-time buyers will come. So what are anything that you are doing around that?
Okay, I'll do it super fast. So actually, Landmark have been there or the e-commerce of Landmark have been there, I think, from 2012. And because, again, Landmark is a corporate, we just joined, there was a huge entire team joined for around 1 year and 6 months. So most of the team now in Landmark was there from 1 year and 6 months. Totally new team got hired. So what's happened on Landmark now, we focused on data. We need to understand the data. We need to understand how things working, how is everything working. So what happened, we was able to bring the e-commerce, let's say, because it's still confidential data, it's a private company. If we was not profitable in the first 7 years, last year we was profitable like above 20+% in e-commerce. What we have done, very simple, we was able to combine all the data, understanding where's our customers, understanding the behavior, doing the normal stuff. It's not like we're doing rocket science. Nothing is rocket science. We was doing this normal stuff, understanding, let's say, cost per order from Facebook in Saudi Arabia. As a business don't know about this, because branch data was a place, MoEngage was in a place, Google Analytics was a place. There is no combination of all of those. Then we started to build the, let's say, name it the RF modeling as example, understanding our customer, understanding what the customer doing, what they're buying. And so it's all about visibility. So what we built on 1 year and a half, it's not about execution, because I will not execute without a base. So what we built first, bringing visibility. We bring visibility. We hired internal team to be able to run the company and to be able to run the concepts, because we have home center, home box, lifestyle, splash, and all this stuff. So we started to hire internal team inside. This is the first part. Second part, if I would like to speak fast about it, acquiring new customers and what's the journey, the regular journey, everyone know it. Okay, send the push notifications and send an emails and X and Y and Z. One of the things we tested was on a brand which is lifestyle. We tested something very simple related to perfumes. Usually we figured out that the perfume finished from you after 45 days or 60 days. We put it as small flow that every 45 days, if anyone buys, let's say 212 VIP, send him a push notification, okay? And
Right.
actually small things succeed. The challenge that most of the people go to the big things, and even the things that I'm saying now is very, very simple. Oh, Amr, anyone will do it, but it was not existing before. When we joined MoEngage, as an example, there's a lot of events was not there, because the team before was not implementing those events, because he was using it like one signal, sending push notification. We built the full view, understand the array of products, understand what the people really purchasing, migrating Shukran data to understand on MoEngage. Now MoEngage have the Shukran IDs of all our customers. They know which customer purchased, which delivery partner was, Aramex. So if I would like to double check my NPS score by partner or courier or by everyone, I will be able to understand it. So we have done a very, very small things, nothing rocket science, but it was like bring the full picture together. So we believe we always say devil in details. So we need to make the very, very small things, which everyone thinks is simple, but we are trying to build the base. And now I think MoEngage with us, we are leveraging MoEngage now. I think 70%. We need to reach 100% before White Wednesday. Before it was the tools was used before was just used to send push notification, abandon cart, wish list, emails, and nothing else was done. Now we have different views because we migrated all the MoEngage with all our channels. So all the segmentation now, we are using initial MoEngage to send segments to Facebook, Google, Snapchat, and Google Analytics as well. And Google AdWords through different migration. So it's make our life easier. Yeah?
Yep. Thanks so much, for the details, and great to hear that experience. I think we have run out of time, but thank you so much, Mustafa, Deepti, and Amir for joining us here, and great conversation. Looking forward to connect with you in Dubai next time. So hopefully we are able to travel and meet in a place next time. All right, thank you so much. Thanks, audience.
Pleasure meeting you.
Thank you so much, guys.